Winter weather is here. That means I am making lots of stews, lots of soups, and lots of chilies. Today I'm going to show you how I make one of my favorite chicken chilies. Thanks for joining me today on Susan's Cozy Kitchen. I'm making a white chicken chili that I love and I hope you do too. The first thing I need to do is to heat some oil in my stock pot. The oil is nice and hot now. I'm going to add a cup of chopped onion in. Now I've turned it down to about medium heat. I'm just letting the onions start to cook and start to get tender. Yeah, no, you don't get to come up here, Muffin. Muffin wants to help me cook. Okay, so the onion's starting to cook. Going to add a 1/4 cup of deveined, de-seeded, diced jalapeno. And I'll just stir that in and let that start cooking and getting nice and tender. This chicken chili is something that you get to decide how you want it to be. My family prefers a milder version of the chicken chili. We like the mild, we like the flavors without the spiciness. So I use a yellow onion instead of a white onion. With my jalapeno pepper, I remove all the seeds and all the veins, and then I just chop the pepper part so that all we get is the flavor. And then when I add my diced green chilies, just 1 small can, that is the mild. We like the chicken to be the star of the show, not the pepper. But yeah, that's how I do it. You can do it the way that your family likes if you want it. The onion is starting to get a little brown. The peppers are starting to get tender, and now that I've got that going, I'm going to add the diced green chilies. I use the mild, but you can use whichever spiciness you like. To that, I have 2 cloves of garlic that are minced. So I've got that in there to cook and for everything to get tender and for those flavors to blend. And I'm going to add my spices to it now also. And that's 2 teaspoons of cumin along with 1 teaspoon of oregano. Sprinkle that over everything. Stir all that in together and oh, wow, does this smell delicious now. Just going to let everything cook together, get tender, let these flavors start blending. Okay. Just let this cook a minute or 2. I like to cook my chili, soups, stews, anything like that early on in the day. So this morning while I was busy straightening up the house, I put 3 boneless, skinless chicken breast. All right, cat. So I put 3 boneless, skinless chicken breast in my pot, covered it with water, and added about a teaspoon of better than bouillon. I also sprinkled in a little bit of the dried onion so that it would help to flavor the chicken and the broth. I let that cook until it was done, and then I just turned it off and let everything sit there and cool for a while. Then once I was ready to start cooking, I took the chicken out, I strained the broth, and then I chopped up the chicken. And then instead of using cans of broth, I'm going to use 3 cups of the chicken broth. Say bye-bye to the people. Bye-bye, people. All right, down goes the kitty cat. Hands get washed. So now that the hands are clean, I'm going to add, this is 2 cups of broth right now. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in there. Just because things are starting to brown and I'm starting to get some lovely color and little bits and pieces on the bottom. 2 cans of white beans that I have drained, rinsed, and then it's been sitting there continuing to drain. And now this is about 3 cups of diced chicken. Okay, there's my 3rd cup of broth. Give everything a stir. And now I'm going to cover it, let it come up to a boil, and then I will lower the heat and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. About every 10 minutes, I'm coming to stir the chili while it's simmering. I just want to make sure that everything's not settling to the bottom and getting stuck or burning. Okay, it's been 30 minutes and let's just look at the difference between when we started 30 minutes ago. You see how brothy that is and clear, and compared to now, it's definitely, the broth has thickened up as the beans are starting to break down a little bit, the chicken is starting to, come apart a little bit, and everything is starting to blend. You see the difference in the broth. That's the chili coming together. The flavors are intensifying and melding together, and it's turning into some great comfort food for a nice cold day outside. Now, the last thing I need to do, I have 2 ounces of cream cheese that I'm going to add. I'm going to reduce the heat even further, and I'm going to stir this until the cream cheese melts and gets nice and creamy. The broth will be a lighter color. When you add the cream cheese, have it cut up into smaller pieces so that it will melt faster. Otherwise, if you pop it in there in a block, it's going to take a lot longer. It's almost melted. So just a few more minutes and that will be ready. Okay, the cream cheese has melted in, and now here's what it looks like right now. Let me take a taste of it right now and actually see if I need to adjust any of the flavorings, because other than the cumin and oregano, I've not put any additional spices in there. So there's no salt, there's no pepper. Let's give it a taste. Okay, here's the deal. If I was going to eat this just plain like this and not add anything to it, I would want to add at least a little bit of salt. However, we eat chili the Texas way, which means we add corn chips to it. I have some Monterey Jack cheese that I'm going to add to it, and I have a little bit of cilantro that I'm going to sprinkle over the top and mix in with it. So when I do that, it's going to be plenty salty and not need any more salt. If I added more, it would be too much. The balance of flavors is perfect. I love adding that little bit of cream cheese at the end. It just gives it that creaminess and a little bit extra richness that it wouldn't have without it. Don't leave out the cream cheese. It really, really does make a difference. Now, so I'm just gonna sprinkle a couple of corn chips in there, a little bit of shredded Monterey Jack cheese, just a pinch of cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, don't put it in there, okay? And just because I love the flavoring of the Tajin seasoning, I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit over the top and stir that in. The lime in it really elevates it. Give it a quick taste test again with all the things added. I was right about once I added everything that I would not need any more salt. The little hint of lime from the Tajin seasoning is fabulous. If you don't have this, if you've got some fresh limes, just, a squirt of lime over your bowl, absolutely fantastic. If you like lime, that is. Not everyone does. My husband likes to add guacamole to his, so that's, another option if you want to, add a little something extra in there. It's good. I just stood here and ate the whole bowl. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already subscribed, please do so. And while you're there, be sure to ring that bell so that you are notified every time I upload a new video to YouTube. Be sure to hit the little down arrow or the 3 dots, whatever is showing up on your personal device, and take a look at the description box. That's where you will find the full recipe, links to my social media, links to some of the products that I used in today's video. If you're interested in that, take a look. Thank you for joining me. God bless.